I want to analyze the poem Let America Be America Again, and it is written by Langston Hughes in 1938. And his main message in the poem is that America needs to go back to the way it used to be, and he wants to go back to the time when there is more freedom in the country and when the black weren't as suppressed as they are, as he says they are in this poem. So the poem has 17 stanzas, and it's not a very simple structure because there's like some of the stanzas are 4 lines and others only 1 line, so they're not equally long, and some of them are more than 4 lines, and also some of them are in brackets, so that's also like very um, original for a poem. It's not um, very common for a poem. Um, yeah, it's just very like it has a very different structure to it. There's also alliteration in the poem. For example, let America be the dream is dreamed. There's a lot of D sounds, so it makes like the poem more fluent, and yeah, it just creates attention to like that part of the poem and what he's saying right at that right in that piece, because it sounds really good, and it is like attention, it creates attention to the poem. And then we also have examples of anaphoras. We have an example with off profit, off grab, off work, of owning, and that's repetition, and it makes us the listeners listen more and like again creates attention to what he's saying. And then we have end rhymes in some parts of the poem, but not in every part, and that's also very like it contributes to the structure that it's not very simple. So it's like only some parts there is end rhymes. For example, let it let it be the great strong land of love. So there's like dreamed, scheme, love above, and then there is again plain and be free, and then other parts there's just like no end rhyme at all. And then we have some examples of imagery, and we have a metaphor, and an example of that could be I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain. And by this he means that he still feels captured and suppressed by the slavery, even though like the white people may think that they don't have this division between them anymore. He still feels like, yeah, the blacks definitely don't have the same rights. We also have an example of a simile, and that is from those who live like leeches on the people's lives. And like this means that there's some people who just take advantage of other people's lives. So the white people take advantage of the black people because the white feel superior to the black. So yeah, they just feel um, like they're worth more, and that the black are not worth as much. So they just like use them for their advantage. And then at last we also have an example of a symbol, and that is of dog eating dog of mighty crush the weak. And we can see this like the rich and the white people are oppressing the weak and the poor. So like you can say the dog eating the dog. It's like they're both the black and the white are people, but the mighty crush the weak. So the white crush the black because the white feel superior to the black, and they feel like they're more worth, and they feel like the blacks are not even anything worth. They're like not even as much worth as animals. So they feel very like superior and like they're in a higher range than the blacks. And all of this imagery adds some flow to the text, and it also creates like pictures in our minds. For example, the metaphor, we see this young man and we can imagine how he is tangled in those chains. And yeah, we see like the pictures in our heads, and it gives us a better understanding of what he is talking about. So there is definitely a change in the tone, and there's like two voices in the poem. So it starts off with being this one voice that's like um, doesn't have anything against America, and it's just like, oh, I like America, and it's fine. And then there's like in brackets and in cursive, there comes like another voice in, and he says that like America was never America to me. It was never America to me. Um, and that's like the voice of the black people, because they're like, we are also a part of America. We helped build America. And then it changes, and then it's only the other voice. So it's like, I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro, bearing the slavery scars. And that continues through the whole poem. So it starts with like the other voice that's like very positive towards America, and then the other comes in and like takes over in the poem. And he also questions like the free. He says that, and he's like, well, it never was America to me, so like I'm also a part of America, but I don't feel like I belong here. Yeah, he repeats this I am many times, because again, he represents many different people from America. And all these people he represents, like they're the black and from the lower class, they are the ones who are not respected in society. Um, and but they were still helping to build America, so they feel like they also deserve some credit for that. And yeah, he basically questions the freedom of his people, um, and because he realizes that the America he dreams of is really just a dream, like it's not for all. Um, and he says that you can call me any ugly name you choose, the steel of freedom does not stain. So he like continuously try to fight for what he believes in and his freedom. um, and he's very proud of the country he has built, but he is not proud of what the country has become. So I think what makes this poem interesting is this change of tone. Um, it it's not very common, and I think it's interesting that there's like he plays with like this. There's like two voices, um, and that one of the voices like breaks in and says, "Hey, I'm here as well." I think that's a very interesting aspect to to give to a poem.